Welcome back to the Titanium Hangar. This is Mike, and I'm coming at you with a weekly news and review for January 23rd, 2022. And of course, we've got news this week from Masterpiece, Legends, mainline stuff. But we're entering into a lighter news week, and it's going to be that way for a couple of weeks. But there's still stuff going on with Ramen Toys and all of the properties they're working on right now. There's also stuff going on with Masters of the Universe Origins. We've got a couple of pictures, some in-package pictures, and I don't think these are even the ones from Mattel. I'm going to quickly touch on the G.I. Joe thing yet again. Did do a video on it yesterday. And there is a bit of Star Wars news, so there's a lot to talk about. We're going to get into talking about all this coming up. First off, a few things at Show Z that look pretty cool. They are getting in stock right now. They're Magic Square. This is the MS-01X Light of Freedom Optimus Prime Metallic version. This is the Masterpiece scale version for $115, and it looks pretty good. This thing appears to be very well painted. I can't wait to see people showing this pictures in hand, because that was my biggest complaint about the first issue of this, was that it was just kind of dull plastic. Now with a really nice paint job, it probably looks popping on a shelf. They also have pre-orders up for a Transart BWM07 Transmetal Rat Trap, and this thing does look pretty good. $1 down deposit. It's about 6 inches tall. Should be due out in April, and it will have a nice paint job like the other figures, I'm sure. Still no painted prototypes yet, just grayscale renders, but it does look pretty good. And if you're interested in the RoboSyn auto-converting programmable robot Optimus Prime, they are in stock for $800. Yeah, it's a little more than the original price, but it is the 20-inch with all of the auto-transforming gimmicks and all that kind of stuff. If you're interested in this, they have it in stock. Okay, so this week, X-Transbots seem to be showing off their figure. They call it the Bullwalk, or it's their G1 scale bulkhead, which is kind of interesting. It's a different type of design that you would see or expect from X-Transbots, but they also did something similar to this with a Psykill figure. But this is based off the X-Transbots Dante mold, which would be their Inferno, and it's an inspired animated Prime bulkhead. Looks cool, has more of a G1 type of a style to it, and it's kind of interesting. So here's the alt mode, so you can kind of get an idea of what it's going to look like in its alt mode, and still, it's an interesting stretch of making one figure into another, reusing a lot of parts from one mold, and it's a good idea. Just something I've never seen X-Transbots do, and it seems like they're going to be spreading their wings more and more as time goes by. So we've gotten some more reveals this week, and I've already made a video about it, so I'm not going to talk too much about it, but Fans Toys with their Jester and their Viper, and there's the two arms, the remaining components that we need to build our Superion, but still we don't have the parts for it. We don't know how it's going to combine, how it's going to go together, and we really don't know how far out these are. We don't know how long it'll be till they get released. Show Z's put these up for pre-order, and so with that, that doesn't mean that they're going to come this year. They might still be a 2023 release. So it's kind of nice to get to see kind of what the arm is going to look like and what's going on with it, which is something that's even different than what they do with the legs. They didn't really show exactly how the legs were to form, and now we can kind of see how this forms. So it looks pretty cool. It looks pretty interesting, the Viper and the Jester for Superion. I think some of the biggest news this week was that Fans Toys is going to be making a Gears, and it's pretty common or obvious or whatever you'd expect that they're already making so many mini-bots, and then they're, of course, going to do a Swerve also, a Diverge. And so it's pretty cool that they're doing it, but again, these are probably going to be way off. And they do look like they are some more relatively complete prototypes, but it still seems like it's not in the running for any time soon. They both have pretty similar alt modes, even though they kind of look like they're going to transform way different than each other. But this is the Gears, they call it the Variator, and interesting name, interesting vehicle mode, and it looks pretty good overall, just what you'd expect from Fans Toys. So we keep getting more pictures of this Cliff Jumper from Takara, and I have to say that a lot of people are guessing this might be a KO that just took the design from the Bumblebee and is turning it into a Cliff Jumper. Again, there's no official word from Takara yet, so we really don't know. But I don't know, it just looks like there's too much difference. Too much has changed for it to be a KO company taking the mold and moving it to that. But that's an interesting theory that's out there since there's no actual facts. I mean, any guess is as good as mine. So here we go with more pictures of it. Just real quick. I mean, obviously, we've got one coming from Fans Toys eventually, but I expect to see this one out first. So next we got some in-hand images of the 3.0 MDLX Bumblebee in hand, and it looks pretty interesting. There's the packaging, the box, how it's going to look in the packaging. Here it is out of the packaging, and that's how he looks. So this thing is actually not going to be very big. We're going to see some size comparisons, but I think it's going to be around the 5 inches tall, 36 points of articulation, and $60 for what you're getting right here. So sort of targeting a Masterpiece-esque scale, because Bumblebee is a smaller character. There it is, showing some dynamic range a bit, and some of the articulation that goes with it. But you look at this, it's non-transforming, but they do have a lot of the parts to make it look like as if it did transform, with like the wheels tucked to the inside of the feet and all that kind of stuff. So still kind of interesting looking, does have quite a bit of paint, and it does feel like a premium figure from what I hear. So here it is. This, if you want to see size, this is it next to the MP20, was it 21? The Masterpiece first version of Bumblebee, and he's not much bigger. So that first one I felt was kind of too small, so this thing really isn't that big, maybe even smaller than the standard Carbots. But I think this one really shows the size and scale of it compared to the other versions that they've made in the past. So it is a lot smaller, and it's a lower price point, but I still feel like it fits in relatively well with a Masterpiece collection, especially if you're going for a Masterpiece collection with these non-transforming 3.0 figures. So we got more pictures of this Windblade model kit now. You do have to put this together, of course, and here is the box. So we've been talking about this last couple of weeks, but here we have the in package or the packaging, and it looks okay. But what we're going to see here is posability. Once you've put this thing together and you've built it, this is what it's going to look like. And kind of interesting, the color of the ankles and all of the joints almost look like skin tone color, which is kind of interesting. I didn't even notice that in the other pictures, but you can kind of see posability, you can see how this figure looks, and articulation. That's pretty nice looking Windblade. So Prime One Studio has more pictures of their upcoming Cybertron Megatron statue, and the thing about it is that it's going to be 27.5 inches tall, it's going to be 70 centimeters wide, or tall, by 49 wide, by 65 centimeters deep, and it's based on, of course, the War for Cybertron theme, battle damaged base, LED illuminated eyes, and fusion cannon, and it's kind of cool. So here's where we go. We had a toy, they made a show after it, now we've got premium collectibles matching the original cheaper toy, which it's ironic, but it all works together anyway. I think this is one of the better pictures to kind of show how it's going to look next to an Optimus Prime statue, and so it's all cohesive and it works together. Looks pretty good. Alright, so real quick, an add-on kit for your mainline Wreck-Gar Studio Series 86 is extra tires, and you could turn your Wreck-Gar into a four-wheeler, and a slightly different coloration of the wheels than the original, but still you could turn it into a four-wheeler if that's a thing you want to do, or if you lose your tires, you can order them from Fun Bee Studios. So interesting how they're doing this, kind of cool, or you could just quadruple up on it, just have a bunch of them. So here's Hot Rod riding the four-wheeler, but I don't know, messing with this figure, my wheels fell off when he was in bot mode a couple of times. You can clip them in pretty solid if you want to, but sometimes messing with it, they fell off. So I could see people losing their wheels and needing to get more. So this is a pretty good option. Okay, so we've seen some new age pictures of their David, and now they're coming out with the N27X Tromo, or their Toxitron. This is an official picture, and I think we've seen some sort of pictures in the past. Definitely information on this, but it looks pretty good with this, and it's if you're into the Toxitron in the Legends scale. And it's going to include all this. It's going to be a slightly different recolor of the trailer, and you're going to get all these extra items in here, Energon Axe, and looks like an Energon hook, and just different stuff going on. So still looks pretty cool. You got a bunch of hands, you still get a matrix and all that, and you get a nice kind of lime green. So we're also going to get some Golden Lagoon figures, some gold painted figures from New Age, which I think is actually pretty cool that they're painting them so well. And I'm actually going to be reviewing this guy pretty soon, just the standard edition, but they're Jones, and it's the H41D Jones, and looks pretty cool. Pretty good looking little figure. Here it is in alt mode with all of his gold paint. And one thing that New Age does and does well, they do paint. Here he is playing around in the Golden Lagoon, so that's so cool how they do those promo pictures, and it's a lot of fun. Also, they're going to be doing their H42G Sean in their gold also, and so Golden Lagoon special right there, and that looks pretty cool. Also, there he is in his bot mode, and so pretty cool what they're doing. I mean, they do a ton of repaints, and they're usually pretty upfront with them so that you know what to hold out for and which one you want to get and which iteration you like the most. But a lot of people end up buying multiples because they like them so much. Okay, so a light week on Masterpiece, a light week on Legends, and sort of a light week on the main line, but there's a lot of other franchises and properties I need to cover today. So getting into the mainline news here and stuff, there's a Core Class Skywarp and a Core Class Iguanus, and so interesting what's going on with that. Let's take a look at these guys. So here's the Iguanus figure. This is the $10 price point, and it's interesting also how they're making smaller figures that make sense to be smaller, but still making regular characters so you could, I guess, dial out a whole shelf of Legends figures for the $10 price point. So Core Class Iguanus, there is his packaging, and of course it's open packaging that I don't like, but it's going forward to a future that I don't have any control over, so we're just going to have to deal with it and live with it. But there it is, and there is the alt mode that turns into some sort of a motorcycle-ish in a way, so I don't know a whole lot about it. But one thing that I'm hearing is that with the Legacy line, we're going to be seeing these weapons that can build together to form bigger weapons, or some sort of a building process for the weapons. So as you see the little attachment on top there, that's a weapon. The same as he's holding a weapon right here, this Skywarp and his weapon, you're supposed to be able to do some attachments to it. So I don't know all about that just yet, but I'm sure we'll find more about that as time goes by. Still, it's a pretty decent looking Skywarp, and so this mold looks pretty good. It looks better than the last time they did it in the Core Class. Or they actually called them Legends back then, but Core Class Skywarp, and here is the Skywarp in his alt mode, looking pretty good, and you can put his little weapon on the front there, and I think it attaches to other weapons and stuff. And here's the packaging. So what you can expect to see hanging on your pegs coming up soon. Kind of staying in line with that, we also have pictures of Wave 1, Core Class out in Puerto Rico. They're not out here in the States yet that I've seen, definitely not in my parts, but we are going to be getting a big reset at Target and Walmart either this week or the week after, over the next couple of weeks, which means a lot of stuff's going on sale. They're going to get rid of the old so they can put in the new, and that's just how things always go. But I do look forward to both of these, mostly the Ravage because I'm a big Ravage fan, but I'm curious if I'd even want to pick up the Shockwave, but I'll probably check it out. So more stuff showing up at retail. So the Wave 8 liter Coronation Starscream's out at US retail for, well, like $50, I guess, for this liter Coronation, but it's at Target, and if you notice, I really thought that buzzworthy Bumblebee, the one that turns into the Cybertronian look, I thought that thing would sell out and just be done with, but they're getting more stock in at some Targets. So it's crazy how I thought it was like a one and done and it's over with, and now there's tons of it kind of flooding in. So interesting. Maybe those will get on sale. Those will go on sale. You can get an extra one to open or something. But this buzzworthy Bumblebee that is a Target exclusive line kind of thing is kind of strange. But also, there's a Starstream showing up. So Takara is putting out more pictures of these Studio Series figures that are coming up, and this is via their Twitter. So okay, so looking at this, it looks pretty good. The Brawn, I think, is probably the best out of all of these. Does look the best, and there he is. These are based off of the 4-minute opening scenes in the Transformers Bumblebee movie. Here he is in his alt mode, which is just kind of a made-up alt mode, but still looks kind of cool, and kind of feels like it works in that environment. It works in that world. Let's take a look at their pictures of Wheeljack, and here is the Wheeljack. Now, I think that the Wheeljack for Earthrise and stuff was pretty good, but this is not based on a G1 design. It's, of course, based on the movie design. And then the alt mode right here, and there it is. So, Pretty cool looking pictures, pretty cool looking stuff. This stuff is hot and new until it's released and everybody's got it. Then it's not really all that hot or new anymore. So we got more pictures of the Takara Tomy Studio Series 03, SS03 Megatron, but it's the premium finished version. Now I do have the Prime on the way. I don't have the Megatron on the way, but this is like another shot to get it. Now I understand that they put this out, and then when they it's sold out or it's high price or whatever, so now you're getting it with a better finish for, it's still a pretty high price. I still think it's like $50 to get your hands on this. So anyhow, these are some pictures of it. This is kind of what it looks like, and in-hand pictures of the alt mode right there, flying around, looking good. For what it is. For what it is. If you like this design, I think this might be the best version to go with. Notice it does have some weathering effects, and it's got a kind of a darker shade of silver. It does look pretty good, though. Okay, so this is allegedly a bit of news about an animated Transformers film releasing in 2024, but there's also a lot of stuff on here. This is supposed to be the Paramount schedule. So Godfather 50 Years is announced for February, Blazing Samurai in July of 2022, and then Secret Headquarters for August, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Animated in August, and then an Untitled Quiet Place, Mission Impossible 7 in September, Mission Impossible 8, okay, is now going to be 2023. So there's a lot of adjustments in here. But you see all this down at the bottom, you see where it says July of 2024, there's supposed to be Untitled Transformers animation. So, I mean, this might not actually ever come to fruition. This is just plans that they have and moving around dates and release dates and all this kind of stuff. So, anyhow, it's still kind of interesting. It's kind of exciting. What is this going to be like? What is it going to look like? What kind of style and all this? I'm sure we'll get updates as time goes by if it's a real project. Okay, so getting into some different news. And yeah, it's been a light week, but a lot going on with Ramen Toy and their 80s Commanders. Now, they have come out and said that they will not reissue the same SKU, meaning that the figures that were made in the first run with the deco and the head sculpts and all that kind of stuff, they're never going to get made again, but they are making more toon/toy accurate versions with the more vibrant colors and different head sculpts, and they all have unique helmets, and so they are making some changes and alterations, and you're going to be able to order these in this upcoming week. So tomorrow, Monday, you should be able to start ordering these on the Ramen Toy site. So I'm going to be in there. I'm going to get myself a set, early bird set. If you order them early, then they're $188 for a set of 3, and then if you wait, then they're going to be like $100 a piece, something like that, down the road. So they will be coming available. They're going to be manufacturing them and having them readily available in April of this year. So they move faster than Hasbro when it comes to producing stuff. So that's pretty awesome too. Looking at the head sculpts, now the head sculpts do look way more like the cartoon, way more like we'd expect. Maybe they're not 100% perfect. They did outsource this from my understanding. They had someone else that does head sculpts taking care of their head sculpts, and I don't think this was done in-house. But then again, I'm not sure 100%, but that was the plan, was to outsource it after they did a production run, and they did. So it does look better in my opinion, but I always display my stuff with the helmets on. The head sculpt is nice. Also, they're going to allow people that had the first run to order just heads and helmets also. Really quick, just one-on-one, here is the Max, or the Naval Commander, and I think the colors look great. I think it all looks great. I like the figures the way they are. Of course, I was in the camp, I wanted them to be bigger 7-inch ones, but so many people said they wanted them 6-inch, so they went with 6-inch. They do listen to the customers and what the customers have to say, what the fans have to say. Here's the Air Force Commander, so this is the Ace McCloud version, and of course, I like the blue, I like the silver, I like everything about it. I think it looks great, and I'm in on 2 more sets of these, and I have my own reasons for wanting to get as many as I do, because I would have bought more of the original, but I always had a gut feeling they'd do this recolor anyway, and when they do start coming out with also new sets, they come out with the new weapon packs, which they're working on 2 right now. I'm not allowed to say which ones, but when they come out with those, I do want figures to fill those weapon packs, and I don't know if they're going to come with figures or not, but here we go with the Armor Commander, which I think this orangish yellow looks amazing. I really do like it, and so I do personally like the new colors better than the original colors, but I do appreciate the original run that they already did, and I do like the figures that I have, and I'm going to like these even more. So moving on to their Silverhawks. Now their Silverhawk, this is Quicksilver, and Quicksilver will be up for pre-order for $65 also on Monday. Should be the week of the 24th, but I always take that as Monday should be the first day we should be able to get on it. I'm going to jump on it right away, and I think I'm going to get the Quicksilvers and then 2 more sets of the Air Force, the 80s Commanders and all that kind of stuff. But this looks really good. Now, it's not vac metallized, but they're using the shiniest paint, most reflective paint possible to get it to look good. Now, I think these are still just renders, but I'm not even 100% sure. They might actually be the actual product, because I did show some actual product pictures, and now they showed these, which probably are still renders. But anyhow, this looks really good. Here, I think there's a magnetic, it's like a magnetic face plate that goes on, and you swap the face plate with face. So I was wrong at first. I thought it would fold up, which I would have liked to have seen, but I don't think that's how it's going to work. They're going to use magnets with it. So still, either way, you can display it either way you want to display it, and it looks kind of cool. And it does, with the face on it, it looks like the helmet's up anyway. So still, the wings are going to be swappable. I thought it was going to be able to just move them up and down, but they're just going to swap them out for different poses. So here is the face sculpt with the Tallyhawk and all of that. So I think it looks pretty good. He's got an amazing face sculpt, and I think I've got a better close-up on the face. Here is a close-up of the face, and it does look really nice. Just amazing. The eyes look so real. Just very well done. Just, they went all out on this, and I think it looks amazing. It looks better than even I expected that they would be able to pull off with the face sculpt and the eyes and the paint and all that. And I hope the final product looks every bit as good. And here's everything that comes in it. You get the Tallyhawk, and you get, it looks like an extra set of wings for the Tallyhawk, and then a couple of different sets of wings, kind of so that you can pose it splayed out or less splayed and all that kind of stuff. And then you get silver hands, and you get regular hands, just all different posable options. Really pretty solid. $65 for this thing. It's not cheap, but it looks pretty good. So I did a video about this already, so I won't spend too much time talking about it, but they did a Fan First Friday, G.I. Joe Classified, O-Ring figures, so there's some good and some bad to it, but one of the comments, or several of the comments, that they just keep putting out reissues of the same figures does get kind of old and frustrating, but I kind of understand why they're doing it. They're trying to please all the people that want the retro style, the retro look, and of course, by pleasing people, they want to make more money, right? So you got Tomax and Zaymont. These are new figures. I think they look great. Both of them look really good. Both Tomax and Zaymont, they're the same figure, more or less, just some opposite pieces, kind of like we had in the 80s. And it looks super retro 80s. We also have Stalker, not looking like I thought Stalker would, but, you know, we'll probably get a retro repaint of him down the road. And they'll probably utilize his buck on other figures, so that's fine too. I mean, that's reusing. I think G.I. Joe Classified should reuse parts to keep the price down and give us more figures. I don't care. Rearrange the parts and make new characters or whatever. Baroness, single pack Baroness. Now, we have no information on price, availability, exclusivity. Will it be exclusive? We don't know where we're going to get this Baroness. We don't know what the packaging looks like. We don't know what the weapons look like. We don't know any of that stuff. So that's kind of the fail, but it was only a 20-minute live stream, and I did have to sit through an hour of it. So here's Lady J. I think she looks more retro than the original one, but I don't think she's really all that necessary. I think she's still very easy to get. You can get her online, you can get her in stores, and all that kind of stuff right now. They should have picked someone else for this slot, but here is Destro, and Destro looks pretty good, but Destro already looks pretty good, so not much of an upgrade, not much of a change, not much of a difference, but still, I think he looks alright, and I'll probably end up getting him, but I don't need him. I think this is one of the best, out of all the reissues, this is what needed to happen, and, you know, I'm not going to defend Hasbro, but they should have done this in the first place with Gung Ho, but now we're going to have to buy another Gung Ho. I hope it's not something you have to chase too hard to get. Hope he's pretty simple and pretty easy to get, because I think everybody that's already got a Gung Ho is like, yeah, I still want this Gung Ho anyway. Watch my Friday video and you'll see more about the Gung Ho. Also, there's the 3-pack of the Vipers. No price, availability, none of that, but we got a 3-pack. They haven't done a 3-pack yet in G.I. Joe Classified, so not sure what the price will be on these guys. And, of course, the G.I. Joe O-Rings. I don't know if price on these, are they going to be $40 like the Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. I hope not. But they look to be O-ring figures that are very, very retro, just like the vintage figures. And you can troop build them and buy multiple packs of troop build. I mean, trying to get a good vintage figure complete of one of these is going to cost you way more than even, the $20 a figure. It's going to cost you $60 or $70 to get a good looking vintage version. Now you can get an official remake. This is not using the exact same molds either. They're all new molds and all new tooling from my understanding. Here is Duke and the Cobra Commander and their O-ring, made to look like the vintage style, but they are a little bit different. Head sculpt's a little bit different on Duke, and the colors are more for Sunbow animation accurate, which I do like. I think it looks great. I think they look great. I think it's cool. Just need to get the price to a reasonable level to make this whole line work or succeed. Okay, so over on YouTube channel Retro Toy Escapades, he put up a video talking about some pictures that he found of the new, I think it's Wave 8, and the Horde Trooper, the Anti-Eternity He-Man. And the thing about this is that we haven't seen official pictures from Mattel yet on this, and they're not up at BBTS and those kinds of places. So it's, shout out to him for pointing out that the pictures are starting to show up and surface, but where's the other ones? And we don't have pictures of the rest of them. Still kind of frustrating there. It really feels like there's no emphasis and no concern about the Origins line. There's no urgency for the Origins line, and there's very little urgency. So I'm still curious if 2022 will be the last year for these, but who knows? I want it to go on. I want it to continue. I'm having a lot of fun collecting Motu, so please keep that going, Mattel. But we don't have really any control over it other than voting with our wallets and buying what we want. And now these things are almost as much as the Revelations figures at $18 or $19. Okay, so we get to see some fun clearance stuff going on right now. And like I said, over the next 2 weeks, Walmarts and Targets will be clearancing stuff out, setting up for new resets, and they call it a new mod reset. And the Wave 1 Batman and Joker are now $9, and I like those figures. They have very limited articulation, but with that, they look very, very screen accurate, and that's what I want on my shelf. You can still articulate them, you can still have them do stuff, but they're not like 32 points of articulation, they're more like 9. And with those 9 points of articulation, they still look really good because you don't have those line breakups. But some people would rather have 32 points of articulation and have them looking like some, weird Pinocchio doll. But with that, $9 for those figures. The Robin is $12, and then Wave 2, which is the Surf Pants figures, and the Riddler are still full $18, full price. So watch out if you're looking for these on clearance. And we're starting to see the Carbonized collection of Star Wars. This is how we transition into Star Wars, right? Clearancing out at Walmart's. Like, I don't know anyone that paid full price for any of these. I don't know anyone that paid full price for these. I saw them and thought, why? But for $7, I went ahead and got myself some. So, not all the figures were there. I think the Incinerator Trooper is sold out at all my Walmarts that I've gone to. But there's a Shore Trooper, and then there's a few others. So anyway, check your Walmarts for clearance on these. And if it doesn't have a sticker, go just scan it, because a lot of stuff's going on clearance and the toy department doesn't know. They don't take time to put a sticker on it. There's a lot going on, a lot of staffing issues and all that. So you might get a really good deal even though it's not marked. So if you ordered this Walmart exclusive TFC Mando and Grogu set, it's shipping right now, and this is like one of the many different Mandalorians you could get, the mini. But if you ordered it, check it out, see if it's shipping, and hopefully it didn't get canceled. I know a lot of people are getting a lot of their stuff canceled from Walmart and Amazon and stuff like that. So looks like this thing's actually going to ship. So this week there's a lot of rumors for like what figures are coming out, and there's code names of Columbus, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Toledo. I don't know what any of it means, but there's always big rumor reports, and Yakface stays on top of all that. They usually decode it by now. Well, there's also some more sort of rumors that they talk about with the Axe Wolf for Black Series, Axe Wolf, and Grief Karga from Season 2. So, kind of interesting. I mean, no surprise there. They're going to do a Grief Karga Season 2. Obviously, they like doing the same character over and over and over. And I don't know what Axe Wolves is. Maybe that's the character. I just missed the name. But also, with that information, it looks like there's supposed to be Republic Security Droid, another Din Djarin, and there it goes. So I didn't really understand why this is a big deal, but Captain Rex evidently price just shoots up on this figure all the time. And then we saw it show up at retail for $4 at Ross, and then it was a cheap figure for a while, and then boom, shoots back up in price. Now there's supposed to be a reissue, and a lot of people are getting cancellation notices on the reissue pre-orders. So not sure what's going on with that. Entertainment Earth says that they're putting theirs back up for pre-order, and instead of it coming out original release date in, I believe, May or March, now it's moved to December. So a lot of stuff going on with cancellation. I'm sure a lot of this has to do with production and shipping and all that kind of stuff, but people really like this figure and trying to get their hands on it. And somebody asked me this week, what's a Razor Crest selling for on eBay? Well, they're not really in stock yet to sell. So what's selling on eBay is pre-orders, and people are paying what I think's ridiculous money for pre-orders, but it's not a surprise. This is how it always goes with HasLabs. So with HasLabs, people pay $839, $890, $895, $870 pre-orders. I would never do a pre-order on eBay, by the way. That's just the way I feel. Once they come in stock and there's 30,000 of these, or however many they made, I forgot how many they made, 27,000 or something, some 13,000, heck, I don't remember. Anyhow, when they come in stock, all of those that were bought to be resold flood eBay, and the price drops way down to like 500. So it doesn't really make sense to do a pre-order on this. A lot of people are going to be putting theirs up for sale just to kind of get a quick flip. And to me, it's not worth it unless they double their money. So at least 700 is what doubling your money means, that you still make some slight profit after eBay's done with you. But still, kind of want to point that out, that these pre-orders are a bad idea to go with the pre-order on it. Wait for it to get released and wait for people to flood the market. So what do you think about this weekly news in review? What else is going on out there that I missed? Seems like there's always a lot going on, but we're entering into the dry spell season with the Chinese New Year coming up and Chinese New Year going on, and then we'll see things get back to normal. But there's always something going on out there to talk about, and we'll be talking about it every week. Let me know in the comments below. Like, subscribe to Deer Finger out.